is your friend, okay? Don't insult that nose, ladies that bathe in perfume, gentlemen that bathe in cologne. Stop, okay? My recommendations on scent as well. Is it Avia? I think it's Avia. It's that oat scrub, that oatmeal scrub. Oh my God, just lather up in that stuff. Okay, it's just another hint. You smell good. They're going to be more interested to you. If you smell like a double Whopper with fries with extra barbecue sauce, they're probably not going to want to you. I'm as big a carnivore as anybody here. I wait and eat my protein and my meat for dinner. I have oatmeal or some sort of cereal in the morning, so I'm smelling like the food these horses eat. Lunch, I'll do a salad or something like that. And then I go ribs and the whole 9 yards for dinner once I'm done. Okay, out of respect for the horse. And again, it makes it, I just be a vegan. I'm sorry, I tried. Bacon got in the way. So it's that nose, and she is so dialed in. I love this. We're not looking at her butt. She's 15 years old. She's checking everybody out. That is awesome. But the nose, when there's a breeze, make sure that breeze is blowing over you onto the horse, okay? Blowing over you onto the horse. They're going to get used to your scents. Some essential oils, 4 or 5 drops in a little spritz with water. Put it on your jacket, put it on your arms or whatever. I'm wearing Peace and Calming right now. It helps. Is it the magic bullet? No, but it helps. So there's a lot of that. I'm going to get in there with her in a little bit. That's definitely her comfortable spot there by the water trough. I'm going to tie my jacket over there so when she's over there she can smell me. And we're just going to do a little bit of, I'm going to be reading her, she's going to be reading me, and we're just going to see where we're at. We may not really get anywhere, but a lot of it is just give and take. It's reading her body language, having her read mine. There's not any, well, hopefully there won't be any running around circles and all that stuff. Any time for round penning later. So, anyhow, this is just kind of how I do my introduction to horses, wild horses. At the moment, I've got 10 on my ranch. I recently placed 2 in Ridgeway at Thunderheart. Rebecca, what is Thunderheart? Thunderheart Haven, which is a youth coaching and youth therapy, both riding and on the ground. These horses are phenomenal in the coaching. You know, there's so much more you can do with these horses than riding. Coaching, teaching, therapy. These horses are so tuned in, they probably can sniff the BS on you before you even know you have it. So these really kind of help you get in tune with yourself. And I think that's probably the greatest thing of working with these horses. Every horse you work with is a little bit different. Every horse you work with, you're learning something new, something more. You have no choice but to become a better human being when you're there with them. Why? Because they have a bar that's set really high. Domestics are way down here, most of them. Okay, you've got to get better. I highly recommend finding a martial art that resonates with you. The healing martial arts. Yoga is great. I'm just not flexible enough, so yoga went out the window. Forgive me. Tai Chi is phenomenal. I found Qigong has been really incredible in the breathing and just the fluidity of movement, which when you're more fluid around a horse, they're very fluid. So I think those are just some of the hints that have helped me along the way. This past year I've helped place 11 wild horses. Did I just cut it? 2 or 3 of them were BLM adoptions, 2 of them were BLM Sales Authority, 4 were Hallelujah horses, South Dakota. A Ute Indian, Mustang, and it all added up to 11. And when I look back at my years, like, wow, really? During the drought? That's not bad. So, some other trainers here. I know Diana Shipley's not here right now, but she placed over 20 horses this year, which is phenomenal. So, they're just an incredible animal. So, I'm just going to get in here. We're looking at her butt again. She's hanging out with her buddies. That's definitely, she's telling me that's her safe spot with the water and close to her friends. So I'm just going to climb in there, see how she does with somebody 8 feet above her. And I'm just going to spend What do we got? I really don't like spending more than 20 minutes with a horse, so I'm just going to set my clock to alarm out. It's 11:11, so I'm going to do 11:30, and then I'll questions, hints, whatever I can do to help. I do have cards here. I'm on the resource guide. And I think the other thing I'd just love to share with you folks is what I'm doing. We're going into winter, so we could have really sloppy conditions. We could have, you know, mud up to here. We could have ice. We could have, you know, conditions out here that really may not be conducive to traditional training. But what I'm doing, you can, whether bad footing. So, without further ado, get this set. And again, I just don't like asking a whole lot of a horse in the beginning. The 20-minute sessions can go up to 30 after a while, then 40, then 50, 60, what have you. This is a lot of pressure. We got, what, maybe 40 people here standing around watching her, other horses, you know. So we'll just see how she does. Hi, sweetheart. And the number 8 seems to resonate with horses. 8 breaths, and breaths up in your chest. I mean down here in your groin is where you want to be breathing from. Everything belly button down into your groin. That's where you want your center to be. quite results. Just mirror your horse. Turn the mic back on. Woo! So, anyhow, so we were within 10 feet of her. Got her to move her feet a little bit. She's pretty relaxed. She definitely, that water tank is her safe spot, for sure. But that she was drinking water while I was in with her is a really good sign, because water is refreshment. Water is life, so that's good. A lot of good looks from her. Thinking ears right there. Probably the first time she's ever heard of PA. So a lot of firsts here. I'm sure this is the most people she's ever seen in her life. I mean, her world has changed in the past month, big time. But there's somebody out here that can make her next 15 years every bit as good as her first 15 were up on the range. Different, but just as good. So I think that's the goal Friends of the Mustangs and the BLM have here today, is that these horses get loving homes, great loving homes, and there's enough resources. I got my card, I'm on the resource guide, there's other trainers, gentlers. Tracy's up there running the video. She runs Steadfast Steeds. We're both kind of, I don't know, I'm at the point I just want these horses to be happy and healthy around me, and then I can get them to move on to whatever they're qualified to be in, whether it be a cow pony or a hunter jumper or a therapy horse or what have you. Once that bank of trust is filled with a whole lot of money in there, the sky's the limit for these horses. So I hope everyone that is here and wants to adopt goes home with a horse you're looking for. Maybe go home with a horse that's looking for you. There's probably, I mean, I could tell you a story about Romeo. I went to Axtell, which is Axtell, Utah. It's a large processing facility in Utah for wild horses. Horses come there from the gathers. They're given their shots. Their teeth are checked. Hooves are trimmed. Whole 9 yards. They get their freeze brand, and then from there they go to all the different adoption facilities throughout the country, or to different adoption events, or some of the old 10 and olders end up going off to long-term holding. When I was there, one of the large pens, not a whole lot smaller than this whole rodeo arena, probably had 80 to 100 geldings in it. And Axtell is a private closed facility. They offer a Mustang tour once a year and a burro tour once a year. And was there, and in this large pen there was just this one gelding. I looked at him. He was always dead center in the middle of 80 other horses. He wasn't freaking out and running around. He just do his little trot. I mean, he was just, I was like, dang, there's something about this horse. And we started making eye contact, and it was like, oh, uh-oh. I had no intention. I just wanted to go see this facility. It was only 2 or 3 years old. There's Mustangs. I wanted to get pictures. I wanted to just say, hey, this is Axtell, Utah came into being after the prison facility that was training horses there shut down. So Axtell came into being. I think they're doing a great job out there. Is it perfect? No. But man, they've only been doing it for a couple, 3 years. So anyhow, long story short, went home. I had video, I had pictures, and I just kept going back to this horse, and just kept speaking to me, and it was on me. I'm like, well, shoot, this is Axtell. You don't really get horses out of there. But I called Lisa, who's the public relations director of the Wild Horse and Burro program in Utah. And I was like, Lisa, I'd like to, and he was sales authority. He had the hip brand on there. And I was like, Lisa, I'd really like to purchase this horse. And she said, well, fill out the application, get it to Gus, who runs the Wild Horse and Burro program in Utah. And both of them are there at the facility. And I was like, well, we'll do the paperwork and all that. And a few days later, everything was starting to move. And then my friend Casey's like, I want him. I'm like, well, okay, let's do this if we can. So, and then going through the video and all that, we realized he had a sidekick. Different HMAs. His sidekick's from Utah. Romeo's from Salt Wells Creek, Wyoming. Anybody know Salt Wells Creek? They make them big up there. There's some big ponies up there. And the other horse came out of Tilley Creek, Utah, which is the southwest corner of Utah. But these two were just buddy-buddy, side by side. And I was like, well, we need to get them both. So 5 weeks later, we had to wait until they were processed and the rest of that pen was